Hidden between China and Kazakhstan, there is a country that most people cannot find on a map. At the bottom of its biggest lake, divers keep finding walls, pottery, and coins. An ancient world, 2,000 years old, is sleeping under the water. The people of this country kept their whole history in one poem. It is 20 times longer than the Iliad and the Odyssey combined. Some of them can recite it for hours, from memory. And 90% of this land is mountains. It is called Kyrgyzstan. Everything I just said is true. Let me prove it. My name is Iliad. My grandfather crossed these mountains on a horse. My father crossed them on a truck. I will cross them with a camera, so the whole world finally sees what we were hiding here. First, the geography. It explains everything else about this country. Kyrgyzstan is about the size of Great Britain. Now imagine that 90% of it is rock, ice, and high mountain valleys. The Tian Shan, the mountains of heaven, do not simply pass through this country. They are the country. The average height of the land here is 2,750 meters. That is higher than the highest point of 44 American states. In the far east stands Pobeda Peak, 7,439 meters. It is the most northern 7,000-meter peak in the world, and it is so hard to climb that in some years nobody reaches the top at all. Next to it stands Khan Tengri, the Lord of the Skies. Its marble summit turns red at sunset, and local people gave it a second name, the Blood Mountain. One more thing about this place. It is one of the farthest points from any ocean on the whole planet. No sea, no coast. Remember that, because what the Soviet Union did here makes no sense at all. Kyrgyzstan has no sea, but it has Issyk-Kul, a lake 182 kilometers long, sitting at 1,600 meters above sea level. Winters here reach -20 degrees. The lake has never frozen in recorded history. Its name means the warm lake. The Soviet Union looked at this deep, quiet lake in the middle of the continent and made a strange decision. It became a secret weapons range. For decades, naval torpedoes were tested here, in the mountains of Central Asia, about as far from any ocean as you can get on this planet. The test base still exists today, but the lake was hiding a much older secret. Under the water lie the remains of ancient settlements, more than 2,000 years old, flooded when the water rose. The Silk Road passed along these shores. Caravans from China walked here toward Europe, carrying silk, gold, and spices. But the most valuable thing this land ever produced was not silk or gold. People carried it in their heads. The Kyrgyz were nomads. Nomads do not build libraries, because when you move twice a year, every kilogram matters. So this nation did something unusual. They turned their entire history into one poem and memorized it. It is called the Epic of Manas. 500,000 lines, 20 times the Iliad and the Odyssey combined. Reciting all of it would take weeks. The storytellers are called Manaski, and they say they do not learn the poem. They say it comes to them in dreams. When they perform, they close their eyes, their voice changes, and they can go on for hours without stopping. UNESCO calls the epic a masterpiece of human heritage. Even the country's name comes from this legend. Kyrk means 40, for the 40 tribes that Manas united. Look at the flag of Kyrgyzstan. It shows a sun with exactly 40 rays, and inside the sun is the wooden crown of a yurt, the nomad's home. It may be the only flag in the world with a house on it. And that nomad life never really ended. Every summer, thousands of families load their horses and move high into the mountains, to summer pastures called jailoo. They live in yurts. They milk mares and turn the milk into kumis, a slightly fizzy, slightly alcoholic drink that locals trust more than any medicine. This is not a festival and not a show for tourists. It is simply how summer works here. In these mountains, men still hunt with golden eagles. The birds have a wingspan of 2 meters, take years to train, and are passed down through families like treasure. The national sport is called kok-boru. It is played on horseback, at full speed, and instead of a ball, the riders fight for a goat carcass. Every 2 years, nomad nations from around the world meet at the World Nomad Games. Eagle hunting, horseback wrestling, archery at full gallop. And in the southern mountains grows something you would never expect. Arslan Bob, the largest natural walnut forest on Earth. An old legend says the soldiers of Alexander the Great carried these nuts home, and that is how the walnut first came to Europe. Sounds like paradise. So here is the question: why is it empty? Kyrgyzstan has the same mountains as Switzerland. A taxi ride here costs $2. A full meal costs $3. There are canyons that look like Mars, snow leopards in the high peaks, and horse treks that cost less per day than a coffee and a croissant in Zurich. And still, this country gets fewer tourists in a year than Paris gets in 1 week. The reason is one small word: Stan. People hear it and imagine danger and desert. The reality is alpine lakes, green valleys, and yurt camps with Wi-Fi. That one misunderstanding is why everything here is still cheap, still quiet, and still real. It will not stay this way. Flights are getting cheaper, and travel bloggers are starting to arrive. Georgia and Iceland were secrets once too, and everyone knows how that ended. Right now, there is a short window, maybe a few years, to see this country before the crowds come. That short window is the reason this channel exists. I live here. I will show you the mountains, the lakes, the food, the people, and what everything really costs. Honestly, and from the inside. New video every week. Subscribe and see Kyrgyzstan before the rest of the world does.